Hello, good evening, and welcome to Become a Better Man. My name is Tunde Disu. Thank you for being part of today's program. As you can see from the topic for today's program, it's somehow odd. It's not something that a lot of us will want to relate to or will like to associate ourselves with. However, it is part and parcel of life. It is part of what makes our lives what it is, and it's part of what shapes us to become better at who we are and what we do. So, on today's program, we are talking about failure. Yes, we are looking at is anything good in failure? Can anything good come out of failure? What is failure all that bad? Is it all that completely not good at all? What is good about failure? What can failure produce that is good? And so this is what we're going to be looking at on today's program, and you'll be amazed at some of the things we will discover, some of the things we will talk about, and some of the questions you and I will have to ask ourselves concerning failure. I know a lot of you are thinking, no, I don't want failure. I'm not a failure. I don't associate with failure, and rightly so. But just before you tune yourself out of tonight's program, I think I will highly recommend that you hear me out. You listen through and then see at the end of the program whether there is anything that needs to change in your mindset, in your attitude, in your outlook concerning failure. J.K. Rowling said something. She said, "It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you have failed by default." I mean, that is so profound. It is impossible to live a life without an element of failure in one thing or another. Unless, obviously, if you live your life as an egg wrapped in cotton wool so that it will not break. And if that is the choice that you make, then it means you have chosen to fail, because by you living so cautiously, all in the name of "I don't want to fail," you have actually failed to live. Failure is as much an ingredient of success as anything else that you want to factor into the success equation. Yes, failure hurts. It hurts. It cuts deep to the bones. But it's an important part of life. In fact, failure is one of life's necessities. I know for those of us who are Christians, you are immediately rebuking that in the name of Jesus, and rightly so. But you see, one of the things that we cannot do, one of the things we must not do, one of the things that we need to help ourselves with is to face reality of where we are and what we are going through. In fact, in one way or another, we've all failed more times than we're willing to admit. You have failed. I have failed in an area or in areas in your life and in my life more than we are willing to admit. And I'm not talking of little things. I'm talking of failures that rock your world, that shake you to the root of your being, completely altering the landscape of your life, of your finance, of your career, of your relationships, of your mental well-being, of your peace, of yourself. Failure is one of life's greatest teachers. Failure has the ability to chisel away all those extra fat that we all carry. Failure has a way of stripping down the ego that easily attach itself to us. Failure has the tendency, the ability to mold you, to shape you, to bake you, and get you ready for your next journey. In fact, failure will teach you lifelong lessons than success will teach you. without failure, without experiencing one form of failure or another in your life, you and I will be less capable of having compassion, because you have to be there. You have to have experienced it. You have to have walked in that shoe for you to have compassion on somebody who is going through it. You can't prescribe a medicine, you can't prescribe a solution that you have not experienced. And the only way you can have that solution is because you have experienced the failure and you've applied that solution and it has worked. Now you can apply it to somebody else. So without failure, without experiencing one form of failure or another, your ability to have empathy, your ability to be kind, your ability to have compassion towards others will be limited. And in fact, when you look around your life and my life today, that is exactly where most of the society is living. Everybody is living in their ivory towers. They are living in their big houses and driving their big cars and doing all of that. So they cannot relate, they cannot reckon, they cannot even begin to consider, to think how somebody could say, I can't pay my rent. How somebody could say, I can't send my child to school. How come somebody could say, I have not eaten for the past 3 days? Because you have to have been there. You have to be in it to know it. You have to feel it to know it. Failure is painful. Oh, yes, I can tell you that. It is painful. It hurts. It cuts deep. Failure is painful. It causes emotional turmoil. It gets you upset. It inflicts a pain in you that even after you've gone over the course of that failure, after you've succeeded in that area of your life where you've experienced failure, failure has a tendency, it has the ability to leave an indelible mark on you. There's an agonizing pang of guilt that failure, the stamp of it that it leaves on you. There's a sense of regret, a sense of remorse, a sense of asking, I know I am better than this. This should not be happening to somebody like me. How did I get myself into this situation? Those are some of the leftovers from failure. Failure hurts. It cuts deep. It's like a sharp, brand new razor that slices through your flesh all the way to the bone marrow. But guess what? It's necessary. Imagine you go to see your doctor just for your normal general checkup, and they say, I'm sorry, we found something and we need to get it out. And we need to do it right now. And it's deep inside your system. It's deep inside your being. One of your organ is failing, and we need to remove it before it affects others. Oh, the surgeon would not look at your face, whether you are smiling or crying, when they slice you open to remove that failing organ, because it is necessary. Because it is necessary to save the rest of you. It is necessary for you and I to experience it. There is nothing to be ashamed of as far as failure is concerned. You know why? Failure is like sleep. Failure is like death. Failure is like being born. We all experience it at one time or another. I know a lot of you are saying, no, that's not my portion. I reject that. That's not, and fine. You see, we have lived in this denial, in this state of refusal, in this state of not facing reality, and it is costing us, it's bringing more issues into our lives than the failure itself. If you try to go through life without failing at anything, then you're not really living. You are just existing. You are just existing. You have to learn to step up and step out. You have to be willing to take risks. You have to be willing to dabble into it. And most of the time, or sometimes, you will fall flat on your face. But you see, it's not about whether you fall flat on your face that makes you a failure. What makes you a failure is when you fall flat on your face and you remain there. But you see, the natural tendency for human beings, the natural makeup of you and I is that when we fall flat on our face, the next thing we're looking for is the strength to get back up. The strength to get back up. Most of the people that you and I are adoring and just really looking up to and admiring in the world today, most of the people we call successful today, you just need to look at the trajectory of their lives. You just need to revisit where they've come from. Don't judge them. Don't be consumed by where they are. Go back and look at the track. Go back and examine the journey of life. And you'll be amazed how many points of failure that you will see in their lives. For instance, I'm a parent. Most of you out there, you are parents. When you have your baby child, it gets to a point when that child is about to start walking, when they want to take their first step, or when they want to stand up. And that child will stand up and fall. That child will lean on something and fall. That child will learn to stand, and then they will try to take their first step, and then they will fall. Do you know that every time that child tries to stand up and falls and try to walk and fall, that is failure? But no parent in his or her right mind will stop that child from attempting to stand up, from attempting to take that walk, from attempting to move forward. Yes, the falling down is a sign of failure. The falling down is a symptom of failure. The falling down is actually that child failing in an attempt to walk. But no sane parent will say, "Oh, I don't want my child to fall. Don't stand up. Just sit there. Just sit there." Because we know that falling down is part of the process of that child succeeding in walking or in standing up. So we don't stop them. We don't discourage them. We even encourage them. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, that's my baby. Come on, come on. If we do that with our children, because we recognize that it's part of the process, why is it that we don't apply the same philosophy, the same mindset, the same approach? Why is it that we don't apply it to other things in our lives? Especially as adults. But I'll tell you why. Celebrate success. Oh, yes. They celebrate and proclaim at the loudest volume success. And there's nothing wrong with that. Except that they do you and I an injustice by not highlighting the process, the epic journey, the trajectory. What are some of the failures that has been experienced in the course of achieving that success? Nobody tells you about their trials, their tribulations, the upset, the setbacks, the failures that they've had to overcome to become who they become. Everybody wants to talk about the success factor. Everybody wants to tell you, I'm a successful man. I'm a self-made millionaire. Yes, you could be. But you weren't born as a self-made millionaire. You went through processes. And in the course of that processes, you had failures. You encountered failures along the way. I like what Michael Jordan said. The great Michael Jordan. He said, I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I know to some of you, no, Michael, no, yes, these are his words. He said he has missed more than 9,000 shots in his career. He said, I've lost almost 300 games in my career. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and I missed. 26 times. He said, I failed over and over and over again in life. And that is why I am successful today. That's Michael Jordan. But you see, we celebrate Michael Jordan, and rightly so, for his achievement, for the greatness of his contribution to the life of basketball and people's life in general. But you see, nobody tells you. You don't get to read about his 9,000 missed shots. Nobody tells you that 26 times he's been trusted with the final shot to win a game, and 26 times he failed. We only talk about his success because that's glamour. That's glamorous. Oh, that's wonderful. That's what sells. There are powerful lessons that you and I can learn, that we will learn, that we must learn where failure is concerned. Because what it will do is it will instill in us. It will help us lay hold of the concept of, why did I fail? Let me give you this example. When a little child, when they fall down, say they are walking or running or doing something, and they fall down, they look ahead to see who is looking at me, that who has seen me falling down and is going to come and help me up. That's a child. But when an adult falls down, whether it's walking, it's running, it's just trying to get up, when an adult falls down, they look back. They look behind. They try to identify what tripped me, what caused my falling down. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody wants to associate with failure. Nobody wants to agree that I'm a failure. Nobody even wants to admit that I have failed before in my life. But the truth is, we all have. The truth is, we have all failed in one area or another, and you and I are better off today because of those failures, the experiences of those failures. So when it comes to dealing with failure, when it comes to handling and managing and interacting and having a mindset towards life, we must not discard, disregard, reject, and not want to have anything to do with failure, because it is such an important ingredient of success as far as life is concerned. Question: have you failed before in your life? Irrespective of how old you are, can you remember? Truth be told, hand on heart, can you remember? Can you look back in the last 1 month? Can you remember where you failed, how you failed? Because by you taking hold of it, by you admitting to yourself that you have failed in that area, at that specific time, by you looking at it with bold, open eyes that this is failure, by you not running away, shying away, hiding away, rejecting and refusing to admit that you failed, you have grown. Thank you, Una Opio. She answered many times because she you see, one sign of maturity is to be truthful. to yourself. If you are still deceiving yourself, you're making excuses for yourself, you're reasoning away yourself, you're blaming somebody else, you're pointing your finger, you're not going to grow. You're not going to mature. But as far as failure is concerned, can anything good come out of failure? Or is failure all completely bad and negative? No. No. In fact, I am going to give you some life experiences that you can only get, you can only gain, you can only acquire from failure. Number one, there's something called first-hand experience. You gain first-hand experience from failure. When you go through something, when you attempt something, when you embark on a journey, when you start a project, a process, when you are involved in an engagement and you fail at it, you are not successful at the first time or after many times of trying. When you experience failure in the process, what it does is it helps you to develop a deeper understanding for life. It helps you to recognize that because there is success in life, the opposite of that is failure. And these that I am experiencing, these that I'm handling now, these that I'm going through now, is just the opposite side of success. So it's good for me as well. This deeper understanding of life will leave you with a knowledge, will leave you with an experience, will leave you with a certificate called first-hand experience. Such experience, you can't read it in a book. You can't watch it in a video. You can't imagine it. You have to feel it. You have to experience it. You have to handle it. You have to manage it. You have to go through it for it to remain with you. Such an experience will completely alter your frame of mind because it will inject you with something called pain, regret, shame. But you see, it is not the injection. It is not the poison that it puts in you. That is not the essence. For instance, if they want to immunize people against a particular disease, they inject you to some degree with that with that same disease. If they want to immunize you against malaria, they inject you with something that is malaria, so that your body is ready to fight when the infection comes. It's the same thing we're talking about here. When you experience failure, when you experience a setback, when you experience a shutdown, it injects itself a level of pain called immunization into your system. It makes you reflect on the real nature of the things that you are dealing with, and you learn an important lesson in life which prepares you in case such a thing should happen again in the future. Experience is not something you buy in a market. You don't read experience in a book. You don't inherit experience from your parents. No. Experience is a product of having been through, having been there, done it, got the t-shirt, have the scars to show for it. Now that is experience. And the best way, the way to get that experience that will last forever is failure. Because failure will bring you knowledge. Knowledge that can be harnessed for your future engagement when you are dealing with that same issue. Remember, I used the example of a child trying to walk and fall, and try to walk and fall, and try to stand and fall. That child is learning. It's gaining experience. It's gaining knowledge. It's knowing that I need to hold on to something. Next time I try to stand up, I need something to support myself until I've gained enough balance with my 2 feet before I can move forward. For instance, when Thomas Edison was trying to produce a commercially viable electric bulb, history tells us that he tried 10,000 times. 10,000 times. And it got to a point, people were like, come on, this thing is not going to work. You failed in this effort. Just give it up and go somewhere else. And Thomas Edison said, no, I didn't fail. I have not failed. I have only learned 10,000 times or 10,000 ways that it won't work. He gained the knowledge, he gained the experience of how it will not work. But he never gave up. Because to him, the failure, the 10,000 times failure of producing a commercially viable electric bulb wasn't failure. He was gaining knowledge, he was gaining experience, he was learning how it will not work. Imagine if he had given up then. Oh, this thing don't work. Maybe we'll just leave it. We'll still be using lantern and candle. But because he didn't see it, he never saw it as failure. He saw it as a way of gaining knowledge, gaining experience, learning how it will not work. He went on to do it, and the rest of today is history. Another lesson that failure will teach you is something called resilience, stickability, refusing to give up. Failing in life helps to build resilience. It forces you to grow from the inside out. It forces you to develop a mindset, a conviction. It says to you, you say to yourself, I'm not giving up here. It gives you the ability to look at that same thing that you have failed on 3, 4, 5, 7, 15 times. Look at it straight in the eye and say, when it's all said and done, I'll be the last man standing because I must get through this. Resilience is a vital ingredient to success in life, but you can only get resilience by failure. And you see, most of us don't learn this principle of resilience. We don't have the ingredient, this vital ingredient of resilience. Do you know why? Because we set ourselves up for failure from the very first go. Oh, I'll just do it this way and do it this way, then it will succeed. Yes, sometimes it does. But you and I know, truth be told, most times it doesn't work that way. Oh, you just invest 500,000 pounds into this business, and 6 months down the line, you have 10 million. And really? Oh, you just you don't know how to drive. No, you just turn the key and turn the steering, press the pedal, and off you go. Really? I can't swim, but you know what? I'll just jump in the water. I mean, I can flap my wings, I can shake my body. Really? The moment you do not factor in the possibility of failure, you are setting yourself up to fail. Because if you don't factor in that the possibility that this thing might not work, if you approach it from the overconfidence position of, oh, everything is hunky-dory, as soon as I touch it, it becomes gold, you are setting yourself up for painful failure. But the characteristics of resilience is that it helps you, it helps you to breed, it prepares you. And so when failure comes, you already have enough buffer to take it in and move on and keep on going. Fly by night, here today, gone tomorrow, quick money. It doesn't work unless you are prepared to travel the journey, unless you have set yourself to go the distance, unless you have prepared your mind that this thing is going to take, and I am going to be here, whatever, how long it takes. You're just setting up yourself for disappointment. So failure would train you, would test you, will equip you, will prepare you and get you ready by injecting this vital ingredient called resilience. Another life experience that you will get, another benefit of failure is it grows you up quickly. Oh, shoot. Nothing grows a man quicker than failure. Especially a man going somewhere or a woman going somewhere. When we fail, we grow and mature as human beings quickly. For instance, when you listen to some stories of some children from countries or places that have been ravaged by maybe civil war or famine or any of these natural disasters, you find children who are themselves children, 6 years old, becoming the head of the family. 10 years old, raising 3 other siblings. And you're wondering, where did that come from? It comes from the knowledge, the impact of failure forces that person to grow up. Before you know it, that they mature quickly, they grow up, they take on bigger responsibilities, bigger than their level, bigger than their age, bigger than their maturity level, because failure forces them to grow up. Failure causes us to go deeper and find meaning and find understanding and find a way out about our lives and why we're doing what we're doing. And when you do that, it helps you to reflect. It gives you better perspective. It develops meaning of situations in you. Let me give you another example. Have you noticed that when you have, say you have extra 500 pounds in your pocket, it is possible for you to spend 380 pounds in 2 days, just like that. Then you have 72 pounds left. And suddenly there is an awareness that comes upon you. There is this restriction. There is this self-denial that comes upon you, because you know this 72 pounds is all I've got for the next 3 weeks. And it must last me for the next 3 weeks. You know why? Because the thought of failure, the thought that this 72 pounds, if I continue spending the way I've been spending for the past 2 days, this 72 pounds will finish before tonight is over. Suddenly, that sense of failure forces you to pull yourself together, to grow up, to mature, to take responsibilities that you would not have taken because you think you still have 500 pounds. Life is designed for us to grow and improve. From the very point of creation to the time of death, the journey, the pursuit of man is to grow and develop. And one of the best ways to grow and develop is the effect of failure. Without growth, you could not improve your life. And that is true. Now, I'm not saying you go out looking for failure. You don't need to. Failure is always there. Everywhere there is success, there is the tendency, there's the possibility of failure as well. So you don't need to go out go out and be looking for it. It's there, but the mistakes, the mistake that we've made over the years is by denying it, refusing it, not recognizing it, despising it as if it's oh no, that's not for me. I don't belong to the cycle of failures. Nobody does. But for as long as you are breathing, my brother, my sister, it's just as real as you are. Another lesson that failure will teach you is the lesson of value. Value. Value is perhaps one of the biggest life lessons that you and I can gain from failure, because it helps you. It's a necessity. It is necessary to create and spread an exceeding high amount of value, because value lies at the heart of success, and lack of value is a fundamental pillar of failure. When you handle and you've been through and you've been over and you've now turned this round from failure, it helps you to appreciate. You start to ascribe a bigger, stronger value to things. You start to think deeply about your past failures, about your past journeys, about where you've been through, how you've been through, who you've been through. It helps you to think about how much value that you have to contribute to life itself, life at home, life at work, life to the society, life to value rather at home, value at work, and value to the world at large. It forces you to ask the question, is that the best I can do? Is that the best value I can add to this ingredient, to this equation? What could I have done better? How could I have added better value to what I'm doing? Because when you learn to create value and you do it consistently for a continuous time, there is no Jupiter that can stop you from succeeding. Nothing can stop you from succeeding, because you are creating value and you're doing it over and over and over and over again, and suddenly success is at your doorstep. My new book is called Value Added Service. Value added service. It is centered around the theme of personal responsibility in delivering excellence. How you grow yourself from the point of being held accountable by somebody else to the point where you make yourself accountable to yourself. When you grow yourself by determining and developing all that is required for you to deliver excellence, it is a natural projection for you to provide value, for you to deliver value, for you to add value to whatever you're doing. The book is available on Amazon and I highly recommend it. Value Added Service. Why do we hate failure? Why is it that we don't like the word, the concept, the idea of failure? Why? Why? Yes, I know there is nothing particularly fun and exciting about failing. especially among adults. We just don't like it. We just despise it. We try our best, by the way, in everything that we do. We struggle, we put the effort in, we strive, we do this and do that. But one of the areas where we are dropping the ball is by not willing to admit that we make mistakes, that we fail in an area, that we're not measuring up to a standard in an area. And that could be the wrong thing. By not admitting, by not even considering the fact that failure is just as real as success. But being willing to admit, being willing to fail, and being willing to admit that you can fail and that you have failed might actually be the best pathway to success in life. You must be willing to step out. And that means be willing to commit yourself. And that means be willing to make yourself vulnerable. And that means be willing to experience failure. And when it happens, be committed to admitting it. I just don't know enough yet. I need to build my muscle. I need to change my mindset. I need to develop new skills. I need to go back to college. I need to learn something new. I need to grow my circle of influence. I need to dig deeper into my relationship with God. I need to strengthen my connection with my family. I need to do something, and I need to do it fast. When you are committed and you are dedicated, now you're on your journey to success. Failure doesn't just make us upset. Nobody likes to fail. But failure can also make you to become more selfish. It can make you to become more selfish. Because you see, you are less likely to offer your time or your money or your help or your consideration or your kindness. You are more likely to withhold that from helping others because you have failed. But if you are successful, you want to share it, you want to distribute it, you want to tell somebody, you want to explain it, and that is the nature of man. And while most of us would like to take credit for our success, oh, you see, I'm a self-made millionaire. You see, I came up with that formula. I put this together. I spoke to this person. I bring that into it, and by the time we combine everything, I mean, it was just I just made myself successful. We attribute success to our own hard work and our own experience and our own education and our contacts and our exposure. Oh, yes, those things are great. But when failure is on the table, when failure is in the mix, we're looking for who to point the finger to. Oh, it's their responsibility. Maybe if they have done that, well, if you have said this on time, maybe if you have gone there, we tend to fan out failures to external factors. But success, oh yeah, that's my baby. I made that. I mean, I made myself. Failure is failure is like dying. We know everybody fails because we know everybody will die. We just know it's not going to happen to me. No, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to fail. Oh yeah, it happens every day. People are dying, people are failing. But hey, not me. Seriously? Yes, we hate the feeling of failure. Yes, we struggle not to even believe that failure can happen to us. Yes, it can happen to others, but not us. And that is the beginning of failure. Just because we don't like to fail, just because we don't want to fail, just because we don't want to even admit that we can fail, doesn't mean we should avoid it completely like a plague. In fact, that, like we've just seen, recognizing failure as a as a natural phenomenon, as part and parcel of life, could just be the beginning of your success. Embracing failure may sound ugly, but those who are successful today and those who will be successful tomorrow are the people that recognize the tangibility of failure, and they are not ashamed of it, they are not avoiding it, they are not going out looking for it, but they know it's just round the corner. And so when it shows up its ugly head, they embrace it and use it as a stepping stone to go to the next level. Have you ever failed in life? Have you ever failed in your career, in your academics, in your family life, in your business, in your ministry? Have you failed yourself? You know, we make promises to ourselves and then we fail. Have you experienced anything like that? And what state were you left in as a result of that failure? Are you still dealing with the issues and the weight of that failure today? Have you found a way to overcome that failure, or the pressure, or the pain and the agony of that failure? Have you found a way to overcome it, to recover from the effect of the failure? Have you done that yet? Because as we close, I am going to run through some legs, some things you and I can do to recover from failure, irrespective of what aspect and in what area of your life and my life that we've experienced failure. These steps will help you to overcome failure. When it comes to failure, you will always have naysayers. I told you so. I knew this thing is not going to work. And I told you, if only you had listened to me. You will always have naysayers. Those who know everything but are not doing anything. I can't believe right in front of the goal, empty goal, and you still balloon the ball over the bar. Give that same person the ball, put the ball on the goal line, they will kick it to throw it. You will always have naysayers. But in order for you and I to overcome and recover from failure, we need to ignore them. They are parasites. They are leeches. All they want to do is to suck away the little energy that is left in you, that can help you, that you can start with to grow and become. All they're there to do is to suck it out of you. So when you fail, or when you fall, or when you come short, be prepared for the naysayers. I told you so. I always knew you went all of that. You just making up everything. No. They're good at talking. They're not good at doing. At least you've tried it. Just move on. Because living a life that is completely safe from failure is not living, it's just existing. So the first thing you do to recover from failure, to overcome failure, ignore the naysayers. Ignore the naysayers. Number 2, understand the fact that failure, it's a part and parcel of life. It's okay to fail. What is not okay is to lie down in failure and refuse to get up. That is not good. So one of the best ways to recover and overcome failure is for you to understand this is not new. It's not picking on me. This happens to everybody. If you go on the internet right now and you search for most of the people that we recognize and we see and adore as big, rich, famous celebrities, just go on the web and read their stories. You'll be amazed how many of them, virtually all of them, have failed in one way or another. So it's okay to fail. What is not okay is to give up. For as long as you don't give up, you will overcome failure. You will recover from failure. You will succeed from failure. You may keep falling over and keep failing over and over again. But for as long as you are learning your lessons from the failures, as long as you are examining the cause of the falling, and you are making effort to change the status quo, success is inevitable. And when success comes, you'll be so sweet. Say, I told you. I knew this thing will work. There's something on the inside that just tells me this thing will work. You see, I told you. So by you pushing forward and not giving up is the best way to recover from failure. Number 3. The third way to recover from failure is to use failure as a leverage. Use that failure as a stepping stone. Use that failure as a ladder that you will use to climb your way to the top. If you have failed in life, you can use it to leverage yourself, to push yourself, to take yourself to the top. But more than that, you become other people's helpers. You start to help others from your failure, from your experience, from the knowledge you've gained. Now you're telling others, don't do that. No, don't mix those two chemicals. It will blow up in your face. Don't invest your money in that scheme. It's a scam. Don't go down that route. It won't help you. To leverage your failure in your way to overcome it, you have to illuminate your mind. You have to illuminate your mind. You have to dig deep and find meaning for yourself, for the goals that you've set for yourself. You have to ask yourself, what am I not doing right? What have I got to do? What do I have to change in order for me to move to the next round of this ladder? Because failure is not the end of the road. Failure is not the end of the road. Failure is just a bus stop. It's just a detour. It's just a bump on the road. For as long as you refuse to give up, if you still believe in your goals and you keep pursuing it, despite the failure, you will get to your destination. Another way to overcome failure is to revisit your goals. Look at your goals. Look at the goals you've set for yourself and re-examine them. Are they way out there in the Isle of Patmos? Are they something I can actually work with? Are they smart? Is this something that is realistic? Is this something that has a time bound about on it? Is this something I can work on a daily basis towards arriving at the final destination? Or is it just a pie in the sky? Revisit your goals. Did you have a clear and concrete goals that you've set for yourself? Are those goals set up in a smart way? What are the precise and the exact things that you need to do in order for you to achieve those goals? Have you got a picture of the outcome of your goal in your mind? Have you visualized? Have you used your mind, your power of imagination to see the end? And let that picture that you see with your power of imagination continue to pull you in to pull you in until you achieve those goals. And finally, create a plan. Create a plan. I failed here. This has not worked. Let's go back to the drawing table. Let's set up a new drawing. Let's set up a new structure. Let's approach it from a different angle. Create a workable plan and then work that plan. And as you do that, failure will have no choice but to flip over and serve you success. Ladies and gentlemen, failure is not as bad as we think it is. Failure is not the end result. It's just a bump in the road. It's a way of life saying, you are not there yet. You are still on the journey. Keep going. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. You can make it. There is enough in you. There is enough in me to achieve this purpose as long as we don't give up. And failure sometimes is a test of your resolve. It's a test of your determination. It's a test of how much are you willing to commit. How far are you willing to go? What will you give to achieve your purpose? To achieve the success that you want? To see the end result of your faith? In closing, let me remind you again what J.K. Rowling said. She said, it is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live life so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you have failed by default. Life will only give you what you demand, not just what you desire, not just what you want. It will give you what you take from it. And sometimes in an attempt to take it, you will fall, you will fail, you will be disappointed, it will be painful, you will lose faith, you will be ashamed, the guilt of it. But hey, for as long as you're still breathing, you can make it. For as long as you are still breathing, we can make it. For as long as there is breath in your nostril, success is assured. So don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on your purpose. Pursue your goal with everything. And every time you fall down on your face, get yourself up, shake yourself down, and continue going, knowing that failure is just a part of life. And the flip side of that is success. And my prayer tonight is that you will find the energy, you will find the motivation in yourself, you will find the courage, you will find the will to get up again